PASGT, the Personnel Armor System for Ground Troops, created in the late 1970s and issued in the early 80s. In this video, we'll be going over the protective vest. Be sure you're caught up and check out part 1, where we went over the other half of the PASGT system, the Kevlar helmet. After the discovery of Kevlar by Stephanie Kwolek in 1965 and the lessons learned from the Vietnam War, the U.S. military began experimenting and testing in an attempt to create safer helmets and protective vests for troops. During the war, various protective flak and fragmentation vests were issued to both soldiers and Marines. The most common ones seen were the M1952 and later the M1969 fragmentation vests used by the Army, while the Marines used the M1955 USMC armored vest. Though these vests did help, they were limiting, as they were made up of numerous layers of ballistic nylon or Doran plates, seen in the M1955, and were generally disliked by troops because of their limiting nature in regards to movement and interfering with other gear such as the M1 helmet. Throughout the conflict, a few variations and upgraded versions of these vests were tested and issued, though none seemed to prove to work very well. So, starting in the late 60s and early 70s, both the Army and Marine Corps began creating a number of prototype and trial vests. The Marines started off with a new vest and took the suggestions of troops and officials to incorporate a system for attaching pouches and other gear directly to the vest. This eventually led to the Body Armor Fragmentation Small Arms Protective Vest with front plate Type 1 and 2. These prototype vests saw inspiration from the older vests, such as their adjustable string sides, used during the Vietnam War, while infusing newer technology and ideas such as a quick-release shoulder tabs, Velcro front closures, incorporated Alice hangers, a built-in belt, and the ERDL camouflage pattern. NATIC and the U.S. Army, on the other hand, came up with their Ground Troops Conventional Munitions and Improved Conventional Munitions Fragmentation Protective Vest, or, as it's more commonly and easily referred to now as, the CM and ICM vest. This vest had two versions created, a Standard A and Standard B. Between these two versions, the ICM and CM was chosen, and the final version was officially named the Body Armor Fragmentation Protective Vest Ground Troops, but would simply be referred to as the PASGT vest. It consisted of 13 layers of 14-ounce aramid encased in one layer of water-resistant ballistic nylon, and boasted a more breathable and easier to move in design comprising of elastic straps, Velcro closures, and nylon upper shoulders, and a 3/4 inch collar. It also included 2 grenade hangers, 2 front pockets, and rifle stock pads on the front shoulders. Additionally, it was designed so that load-bearing equipment could be worn over or even under it. This final version of the vest would be printed in solid olive green as well as the new M81 woodland camouflage. However, the M81 would soon become the standard issue. So, what's the NIJ rating for the vest? Being labeled a fragmentation vest, the original intention was for it to stop mainly shrapnel and debris, and it was never designed to stop small arms fire. This is even written out on the first page of the user manual that accompanied every vest by way of a small pocket found on the rear inside section of the vest. However, more recent tests on older vests put it at around 2A, meaning able to stop 9mm and 40 Smith & Wesson fired from a short-barreled handgun, and newer vests at 2, which means it's able to stop 9mm and .357 fired from a short-barreled handgun. Upon general issue, they came in 6 different sizes: extra small, small, medium, large, extra large, and, much like the Kevlar helmet's extra large which was added later, a rarely seen extra extra large. Because of the increasing sizes, the weight of these vests went up incrementally by roughly a pound per size.
Oh, this is heavy.
As mentioned in the last video, the PASGT helmet and vest were first seen during Operation Urgent Fury in 1983, and would continue rollout and finally become standard issue to all troops of the US military by the late 80s. However, the first large-scale usage of it didn't come until 1991, when the US led a coalition of countries to liberate Kuwait from Iraq, leading to the first Gulf War. It was during this time that the 6-color chocolate chip pattern was used on a large scale. This included a cover for flak vests, but often soldiers and Marines were seen wearing their armor without any covers. Then, in 1993, Operation Gothic Serpent, more commonly known as the Battle of Mogadishu in Somalia, occurred. Made famous for the Black Hawk Down incident, this was one of the first times the new 3-color desert camouflage was seen. Along with this pattern came another cover for the vest. Additionally, the Marines used a cover printed with their experimental urban mount camouflage during Operation Urban Warrior in 1999. By the late 90s, the vest was seen as outdated. The military realized that it needed to have a newer system that could not only stop shrapnel, but also larger caliber rounds, as well as have the ability to attach webbing, gear, and other equipment directly to it. So, while testing was underway for a new system, the Department of Defense ordered 4,000 in-term Small Arms Protective Overvests, or ISAPO. Of these 4,000, roughly 1,200 were actually issued. Printed with the M81 woodland camouflage, these small plate carriers composed of aluminum oxide ceramic tiles arranged around fiberglass backing were worn over the vest and attached via side straps. These bumped the NIJ rating up to 3, but only protected the wearer's front and back and added 17 additional pounds, which brought the total to nearly 25.
Whoa, this is heavy. There's that word again, heavy.
In April 2001, the U.S. military unveiled its Outer Tactical Vest, or OTV, which itself was part of the larger Interceptor Multi-Threat Body Armor System, or IBA. And like that, the era of flak vests was over and the era of the plate carrier had begun. However, the vests, much like the helmet, lived on by way of the U.S. Navy, which still issued the vests alongside their own modified version to sailors on board ships. Back in 2000, the Navy began issuing a slightly modified version of the PASGT vest called the U.S. Navy Flak Jacket Mark I Mod 0. These new vests look identical to the PASGT vest, but are seen in varying colors such as black, dark green, and tan. Though this half of the PASGT system never seemed to gain as much popularity as the helmet, the vests can still be seen being used by assorted forces from time to time. Examples include the IDF and the Iraqi Army, to name a few. If you'd like to take a look at the card and manual that came with every PASGT vest, which spelled out things such as care instructions as well as the instruction guide for attaching a camouflage cover, you can find the links to them in the description. And there we go, another one for the books. Hopefully you found this mini-series interesting and/or informative. If you feel so inclined, click that subscription button or check back again soon for more videos here on Uniform History.